Welcome everybody to the Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast. I'm Will. I'm here with Brandon. Brandon, how's it doing? We got a first weekend podcast.
Yeah, bro. This is big. First weekend, we've done really good. And I'm proud of what we've done so far.
Right, I'm happy with the progress over the first two videos. Before we get into anything, make sure you go like and comment on each video. Make sure you're subscribed with post notifications on so you never miss when we go live or when we post. We don't have the ability to go live yet. But yeah, make sure you are up to date on all your podcasts. We got big news coming out of Raw and NXT regarding the Vince McMahon burial of NXT. Wednesday, big news about Daniel Bryan and CM Punk possibly going. We got more news on that coming tomorrow on the first edition of Breaking the Wall. And speaking of Breaking the Wall, that'll come out tomorrow afternoon. I'm planning for around 2 o'clock. YouTube processing when I upload never works 100% correctly, like it's always slow. But be on the lookout for that. And nothing Monday. And on Tuesday, expect the Raw review. So Brandon, last night, the road to Summerslam started for Smackdown. We had John Cena's challenge to Roman Reigns, a confusing ending to the show, I guess you could call it.
For
WWE.
some,
Go ahead.
no, I was just saying confusing for some, not everybody.
Yeah, some might find this confusing. I found it confusing to start with, but then I thought about it. I rewatched the dialogue, and I kind of had a better insight. WWE went to Rolling Loud. We'll get into that in a second. That's our big story for the day. And Toni Storm's debut. We'll get into her debut later in the show. But Brandon, WWE for the first time ever broadcast from two locations. The main location where most of the show happened was in Cleveland, Ohio. And the other location was at the Rolling Loud Music Festival, which is for hip hop, rap. It's a music festival. So
Correction.
Go ahead.
This is yeah. So yeah, this is the first time broadcasting from a music festival, but this is not their first time broadcasting from two different locations. I think this is their third time. Yeah, it's their third time. The first time was for WrestleMania. Was it 2 or 3?
Well, the first time Smackdown has been broadcasted live
Yeah.
from two locations.
Yeah. And then the second time was Raw a couple years ago for Raw 25, and then
Right.
and then last night.
Okay, so the first time Smackdown has been broadcasted from two different locations. Good catch. So the Cleveland show was business as usual. You had a Toni Storm debut. John Cena was there. You had a crowd that actually gave a crap about what was going on. But at Rolling Loud, I don't think after last night, if I'm Vince McMahon or Nick Khan, I'm not leaving the main arena. I'm not going to something that has nothing to do with wrestling. The crowd was dead. They had no idea what was going on. They had no idea who any of these wrestlers were. They didn't care about anything. They kept panning out to the crowd, and the crowd was dead. They were frozen. Do you agree, Brandon, that WWE should never go to a music festival like this where it's not meant for wrestling?
Yeah. Yeah, they really shouldn't. If you want anything music involved, just stick to having big performances at your show, if that's what you want to do. But yeah, it didn't work, bro. Like I think I speak for everybody when I think everybody thought that WWE was gonna have their own location at the festival, like their own soundstage, and then people who are wrestling fans could come to that and buy tickets for that. I didn't think they were actually gonna be in front of the whole entire audience that came for basically all the rappers and all the performances just for music, not wrestling.
Yeah, and I felt the same, or I actually thought the same way as you did. I thought that it was just going to be an attraction at Rolling Loud and not officially a part of the show. WWE obviously did it for the money. I don't think anybody who was making that decision legitimately went through the process of making that official by thinking that it was going to get a pop or reaction. I think they just did it for money, as they do most things. That's not the issue. The issue is for the people in Cleveland. You know, I was checking Twitter during the show, and I saw a lot of people a lot of people that were at the show very unhappy with what was going on there. Like there was nothing to do. You were watching the matches on the Tron, and for some people who might have gone to that show, they may have wanted to see Carmella and Bianca, which after last week I don't know why you would want to see it, because there's not much to care about. I guess they were under the impression that Sasha was going to return. And
Yeah, when are they bringing her back, bro?
I'm going to be honest.
It has to be next week. I'm
going to be honest. I don't know if they're bringing her back for SummerSlam.
No, she's being advertised for it. They wouldn't advertise her if she's not going to be there.
Okay, that's true. Well, okay, so you think of it like in that perspective. They're advertising, so they have to deliver. But I don't want the same thing to happen to this Bianca-Sasha feud that they're obviously planning. I don't want the same thing to happen now that happened at WrestleMania, if that made any sense. I don't want them to have a short, uninteresting feud like they did during WrestleMania season. But
yeah, I want them to have a nice, long enough feud that builds heat. And then I want their match to be longer. Because even though the match was great at Mania, it was only like 13, 15 minutes?
Yeah, it was kind of short. But the Rolling Loud situation, they didn't bring back Sasha. There was nothing big. It was Chad Gable versus Angelo Dawkins and Carmella and Bianca.
Yeah.
And fans during the segment, I guess you could call it, were chanting, "We want Bobby," for Bobby Shmurda. I don't know if you picked up on that, Brendan, but this was a mess. WWE did it for the money. I guess you could say this was the big story coming out last night because there was nothing big. It was a slow day for WWE news.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just don't think WWE needs to try to cross fan bases. I don't understand. You're not going to get anybody that watches or goes to, I guess you could say, goes to Rolling Loud. You're not going to get them to become fans of the product. So I just don't think they should cross platforms. It's not going to help you. It's a bad look when nobody knows who your people are. But I don't know. That's just me. People can feel a different way, but nobody cared about it. Nothing interesting happened. No Sasha. No real reason to be excited for it. So I don't know how the viewers feel, but that's just how I feel. Brandon, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, the Rolling Loud crowd was, very dead. And from the noise that we did hear, they were either piped in or coming from the actual arena in Cleveland. Because, you can still hear the commentators and stuff. So they probably were just, still having the noise play out through the broadcast.
Yeah.
To make it sound like some sort of noise, but the Rolling Loud crowd itself is just dead.
Oh, and a couple things about the Rolling Loud thing. The best part of this entire thing was Pat McAfee and Michael Cole talking about A$AP Rocky.
For sure.
Let's let that be known. Michael Cole apparently didn't know who A$AP Rocky was, and he called him ASAP Rocky, and Pat McAfee exposed him on air. That was the best thing about it. The worst thing about it, besides the crowd being deader than my great-grandmother, was the piped-in crowd noise. It was blatantly obvious. It felt like we were in the Thunderdome.
It's been feeling like that. for, you know,
Yeah.
because they still use it even for the live shows, which
They
sucks.
use it for Raw. I don't know about
They use it
SmackDown.
for Raw.
They use it for
I don't know
Raw.
about SmackDown. People are actually excited about
Exactly.
SmackDown.
People care about SmackDown. I haven't heard piped in crowd noise on SmackDown. But I definitely heard it for Raw, and I heard a little bit on Money in the Bank.
Jackson Riker getting a pop. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. People want to support a racist on live television. But that's our open. The amount of news we got yesterday was so small that there's nothing to talk about besides the review portion of the podcast. So, if you came for a big story, I'm sorry. Tell Vince to go out and try to get Punk and Bryan back, and then we'll be talking about it. But we'll get into the SmackDown review. This might be a short show, Brandon.
It might be, bro.
All right, we'll get to the review now. John Cena opened up the show. He came out to the ring and challenged Roman Reigns to a championship match at SummerSlam. He hyped up the crowd. He wanted Roman to come out. First, what did you think of the promo by John Cena here, Brandon?
Cena's always great.
Yeah.
You know, it's John Cena. I'm glad. You know, I'm glad they still most of the stars that people who watch SmackDown for, most of them were there at the actual Cleveland show. You know, besides Bianca, I guess you could say. But yeah, you know, Cena was there. You know, he came out. You know, he cut a great promo. Cena always cuts great promos. He just got me hyped for the SummerSlam match.
Right. As always, Cena's one of the best promos. He knows how to hype up a crowd, like you said. You know, he called out Roman here, but we got Paul, and I thought this was one of the best moments of the night. He announced that Roman would respond to John Cena at the end of the show. And then, in what I thought, like I said, was one of the best moments of the night, while Heyman was walking out, he started to like hum or sing not the lyrics but the beat to John Cena's theme music as he walked out, and I loved that. Brandon, what did you think about that?
I don't know. Yeah, when Paul Heyman does that, it's just really funny to me. Like when he did like the 10 bell salute from when Bryan left, that was hilarious. And then obviously last night when he was humming to Cena's theme, just being obnoxious, I thought that was great.
Yeah, I really love that. Paul Heyman's great as well. I was actually waiting for an interaction between Cena and Heyman, and I'd say that they're two of the most interesting guys in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
When you look at the work Paul Heyman does with guys like Brock and Roman, like Roman and Brock are two completely different people from the looks of it. I obviously I do not know either of them personally, but from what I see, their TV personality and what I've heard from fans who have met them is they're two completely different guys. So Paul Heyman has to deal with two different guys, and he does everything well. And giving him an interaction with John Cena on live television in front of millions of people is great. And in my opinion, it was one of the best things of the night.
Yep.
So that was a good open. I really liked that open. I don't want to say it keeps people watching until the end of the show, but it definitely builds some intrigue towards what Roman has to say.
For sure.
So a good open. Next up, we had, in my opinion, one of the better TV matches of the year between Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. I mean, Finn Balor. I'm an idiot. Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. So Finn Balor made his return last week. Originally when he got his, I don't want to call it revenge, but when he took out Sami Zayn, I didn't like what I saw because I don't like the smiley Finn that they had on the main roster originally. To tonight during this match, Brandon, did you see anything different for him? Like something similar to his NXT demeanor?
Yeah, I did. There
Yeah.
was a portion in part of the match where he had like that Prince side where he pointed the finger and did his
Yep.
tongue sticking out, kind of like the heelish look like he did in NXT,
Right.
which I'm glad he's keeping. So I like this. So during his entrance, it's like Smiley Finn, but like when it's in ring time, he gets more serious. Prince side comes out. I'm okay with that. I can tolerate that
Yeah, I can
as
deal
long
with
as it's
that for
not
now.
yeah, as long as it's not like Smiley 24/7. So like when we get the match with, we're obviously gonna talk about this later, but when we get the match with Roman, I feel like that side's definitely gonna come out even heavier than he
Right.
did last night.
Right. I can deal with this version of Finn for now, but I definitely think eventually I want to see more of the like full on Prince like he was in NXT. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he's better as the Prince, so that's
For
definitely
sure.
something we need to see. From from the minute the bell rung to the minute the bell rung at the end, I really liked the match. I personally thought this was the best match of the night. Um, you know,
And I thought they were gonna save this for SummerSlam, low key.
yeah, I thought after last week they were gonna do this at SummerSlam, but I'll tell you one thing: Finn Balor has one of the best tope suicinas in the business. Just the dude flies over the top rope.
No question.
Um, let's see. Sami Zayn reversed a double dropkick into a Michinoku driver, Blue Thunder Bomb hybrid. So that was a cool move. I was kind of confused on what it was, and then looking at reports, it became more clear that he went for the Blue Thunder Bomb and mixed it with a Michinoku driver. Did you like that spot?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we need more of this type of offense from Sami Zayn. Definitely. I don't really like the heel tactics he uses, but I get it because he is a heel. He has to. But I like the Sami Zayn that just has great matches week in and week out.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
match came to a close after Finn Balor hit the coup de grace on Sami Zayn and pinned his shoulders 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor gets the W. Um,
So, what I want to say is Finn Balor is great. I don't know. If they're still gonna do Sami Zayn and Finn Balor, I prefer them not to, since they've already given it to us on TV. I mean, if they want to give it to us again, they can at SummerSlam. But is the way I look at it is right now, Finn has he has a title match coming up. I don't think it's not going to be at SummerSlam. It's a gateway for Roman and Cena. But see, it's not like a Keith Lee gateway. It's a good gateway because Finn and Roman are going to give us a fire match, and there's going to be close finishes where we think Finn's going to win. Roman's good at putting guys over, even though Finn's already over because it's Finn Balor. But the way I look at it is Finn Balor's not doing anything at SummerSlam. Shinsuke Nakamura isn't doing anything at SummerSlam. Give him the match.
Definitely. But I think, and we'll get into it more later when we talk about Apollo Crews, but the way I look at this, with what I think they're going to do with Apollo for SummerSlam, I think
Do
Finn.
you see a multi-man?
I see a ladder match, yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that if that's what they choose to do, the ladder match, like I think they're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
Finn should not only be included, but he should win the match.
He should win it. Yeah, he should win it.
He'd be a great intercontinental champion on SmackDown right
Yeah.
now. Because think of it
That
like
that make
that.
him that make him 3-time Intercontinental Champion, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When he wins the title, you have to do something with him. Or else we're going to be looking at the same Finn Balor. The same Finn Balor that went down to NXT. Like when he went down to NXT, the same one that came up from the main, that he was on the main roster. I can't speak to that.
Imagine Damian Priest winning the U.S. title at SummerSlam, and then in Survivor Series, Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. That'd be a fire match.
Right. Next up, we had Big E Big E touted his win at Money in the Bank, but before he could really say anything big, like, I don't know, make a challenge, Apollo came out,
Of course.
interrupted him, which I'm so tired of Mr. Nigerian Prince and Big E interacting. Please spare me the trouble of watching this every single week. I don't know
That's
how you.
that's that's yeah. That's been like the main. That's been like a few for like literally the most part of the year.
Yeah, and watch them name it a nominee for Rivalry of the Year at the Slammy Awards at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Um,
it shouldn't win.
it shouldn't even be nominated. It's
No.
literally they fought what 8 times this year.
Yeah, like actually, it's all together when they had interactions in the ring together. It was like it's like a pretty sure it's in the teens when
Yeah.
I saw that report.
All I know is that I don't want any more of it, and they need to come up with something fresh for both guys because right now Apollo has nothing going for him.
Yeah, it's been stale for a few weeks now.
But Apollo told Big E he's not a champion like he is, and he reminds him that Apollo beat him at Mania. Cruz is interrupted by the Dirty Dogs, who are finally on TV. Surprisingly, I'm surprised Vince remembered about them. What do you
Me
think of
too.
them? What do you think of them as a tag team?
They're a great tag team.
Yeah,
They're a good tag team. I like their theme. I like their dynamic in the ring. Um, gosh, bro, they need to fucking merge the tag divisions, bro. If the tag divisions merge, bro, Dirty Dogs would be one of my favorite tag teams in WWE right now.
now
Because like there's so much you could do with them, and they really are really if you think about it. Because there's really not that many actual legit tag. Even though Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler were thrown together, since they have like a name now and their own theme, they're becoming more of a tag team. You know what I mean?
yeah, but I want to see them pushed kind of alone. They're a good tag team. They
Yeah.
work together well in the ring, but these are two guys that really needed singles pushes. They dropped the ball on Robert Roode, and I don't know what they're. I could see Dolph Ziggler being sent to the unemployment line in the next wave of releases if they don't do anything with him. I hate saying that because I love Dolph Ziggler, but it is what it is. They came
I
out. Go ahead.
I'd actually disagree because Dolph Ziggler has been a part of WWE for years, and he's like more of a ambassador type of person that you could send somewhere. Like if WWE had some type of press conference or some type of thing coming out, Dolph Ziggler is one of the guys you'd send out because he's been in WWE for like a very long time now. And a lot of people, when you think of WWE, even though he's not like a big top star, people are gonna know who he is. You know what I mean?
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a multiple time Intercontinental Champion. Dolph Ziggler, he's like I don't know. He's like a yeah. He's done a lot. He's done a lot. He's done a lot. I think he's a bigger deal backstage than people really think. But yeah,
Yeah. I see what you mean there. Um, they came out to the ring. They got interrupted by Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura, who were interrupted by Cesaro.
Rick Boogs is so over, by the way.
Okay, according to the report I'm reading, during the Rolling Loud segment, there was a brawl on the air, and then I believe they went to commercial. And while we went to Rolling Loud, there was a six-man tag team dark match for the people in Cleveland while they went over to Rolling Loud. So during that commercial break, and I guess during Wale's introduction of the Street Profits, they had a dark tag match, which I didn't see anything about. From what I saw on Twitter, people were talking about how there was nothing. So it looks
Mm.
like they got that six-man tag team match while they switched over to Rolling Loud. So I don't know who won or anything, but according to the report I'm reading, that's what happened. I don't know if that's true or not though. But we talked about it kind of when we were speaking about Finn, but the way I think I see them going is a ladder match at SummerSlam for the title. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you got Cesaro. Okay, let's say you got Apollo, Cesaro, Shinsuke, the Dirty Dogs.
Yeah.
That's 5.
Yeah.
Um, and Finn. That's 6. Do you think they do that, or do you think they add Corbin and Owens and make it 8 man? Or do you not see them doing any of that? Who do you think Apollo will face at SummerSlam?
No matter what Apollo does, I feel like it's gonna be a multi-man match. Whether it's a ladder match, a 5-pack challenge, is 6-man elimination, whatever, 6-pack challenge, whatever. But yeah, whatever Apollo does with the IC title, it's definitely be a multi-man situation. Because
Yeah,
with SummerSlam being bigger than Mania was this year, they're gonna have to do that.
right. I could also see a fatal 4-way between Nakamura, Cesaro, Apollo, and Finn. And after what we saw backstage tonight, I could see them doing the Dirty Dogs versus Owens and Corbin on the pre-show.
I could.
We'll get into that dynamic in a second. But what did you think of this segment with all the people interrupting and the brawl?
This right here, yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool to keep Biggie involved in all of it. I feel like I'd want him to have like some type of bigger match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I didn't really
You know
like
what I
the.
mean?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really like
Like
this. Go ahead.
I don't know who you do it against, but I feel like they're doing Biggie's push the absolute correct way. They've been doing it the correct way really far. They did it, got him over his singles, gave him a singles title run. He
Right.
lost it. They were about to give him a fire rivalry with Aleister. And you know what happened after that.
Yeah.
And then now he's Mr. Money in the Bank. Just like on paper, this is a old school, or really an old school build up would be Royal Rumble win because Money in the Bank really wasn't a thing. But now, like modern day, this is the right way to build up a star. So
Definitely.
I feel like after you win Money in the Bank, you need to have, and especially with SummerSlam coming up, Big E should have like a big match against some rival. But I don't know. I don't know who you put him against though. So that's really hard. So I don't know what Big E does at SummerSlam. But as for the rest of the guys, it's probably building up to some multi-match for the IC title at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I don't really like the segment. It took a lot away from Big E's win. You didn't let the man get the promo out like he should have. You had all the
Yeah.
people come out. Chaos happened, and we didn't
I'm
really.
also
Go ahead.
I'm also not a fan of, unless it's the Royal Rumble, I'm not a fan of tag team partners fighting each other. So I don't know why the Dirty Dogs are like involved or like in the conversation of a title picture. If it was like one of them, sure, but both of them, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, then again, that's why I say we get Dirty Dogs versus Owens and Corbin,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And like pre-show, that's a cool pre-show match. To get Corbin over. I didn't know how they were going to. Yeah, we'll get into that later
yeah.
when we get to it.
So I didn't like the segment. I think it took a lot away from Big E, but that's a different story for a different day. They have to continue to build on Big E's momentum, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. Um,
Facts.
build on his momentum, we're fine. If you don't, then I have a problem. Up next, we went to Rolling Loud. Um, it was a couple 100,000 of my great grandmothers
Okay.
out there. My great grandmother is dead. Um, we got Apollo. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Angelo Dawkins versus Chad Gable. The match was all right. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it definitely wasn't special. Angelo Dawkins won. Before we get into anything else regarding this, dynamic, did you like the decision, Brandon? I certainly didn't.
The decision for what?
Ga- uh, Angelo beating Gable.
Yeah, nah. Alpha. Like, I was about to say American Alpha. I mean, it's really the same thing if you think about it, just like with Otis. But the Alpha Academy, they've been one of my favorite things of SmackDown so far, and I really thought they were going to continue their momentum today. But low key, I hate saying this, with them, being at Rolling Loud, and even though and Rolling Loud was like a hip hop appeal, and you gave Street Profits an entrance with Wale, and you had Bianca coming out next as a champion. With this partnership, WWE was trying to get over to the more urban side of fans.
You said it,
And
I
that's what,
didn't.
yeah, I think that's why Angelo Dawkins really got the win.
You said it, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak on that, but I agree. The crowd definitely wasn't into this. They had no idea who any of these four guys were. I bet they laughed at
Mm-hmm.
Gable and Otis. I would have.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like the decision. I definitely think Chad Gable should have won. I
Mm-hmm.
think American Alpha should be involved in the tag title picture going into SummerSlam. You know, they're one of the only legit acts in the tag division that are good. You got
Yep.
the Street Profits who have kind of run dry. You have the Dirty Dogs who are involved with something else, not dealing with the titles. You have the
Mm-hmm.
Usos who are great. You have the Mysterios who are great and who have been involved in the main event scene, and then you have American Alpha, um, Alpha Academy. So I think they should have gotten over here, but I know why they didn't. I'm not going to say it, but I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So then, after a commercial break, we got Bianca Belair defending her title against Carmella. Another rematch. I didn't see the need for this. I thought the only reason they were going to do it is because that was a way for Sasha to return. Um, that's not the case. We didn't see Sasha at all. The
No.
crowd, again, did not know who either of these people were. In fact, they were chanting during Carmella's entrance, "We want Bobby" for Bobby Shmurda. So, oh, and the report I'm reading also is saying that they were chanting, "We want Cardi" for Playboy Cardi because he was pushed back. He was like his scheduled appearance at Rolling Loud was pushed back so SmackDown could have their matches. Um, they were definitely more over than Dawkins and Gable were. Even
Yeah.
though they still had no idea who they were. We know why they were more over. We know why Carmella was more over. We won't speak on that. But um, Bianca Belair wins. It was all right. Um, both of these matches weren't anything special. They weren't going to pull out 5-star matches for people who don't know who they are. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I don't think they should ever go back to Rolling Loud or anything like that. But
No.
Brandon, what did you think of this match and the result?
It was literally if you watched their match from last week and didn't watch tonight, you wouldn't have missed anything at all.
Yeah, last week's match was much better. No Sasha, I was kind of surprised. Why do you think we didn't get Sasha Banks tonight?
Well, I think it was safe to say as soon as you saw that they were at the Rolling Loud crowd, I think it's pretty safe to say that we weren't going to see Sasha. Because if you don't know about anything about WWE, you're obviously not going to have Sasha return in front of people who don't even know who she is. You want her to have a big pop.
Well, I thought people would know who she was more than anybody else, but I definitely agree with you. But then again, the reason why I say I'm surprised is because normally WWE doesn't care about fans and they just bring people back. So
They're going to have to bring her back next week because literally Bianca, what is she doing?
she
She's
has to
probably going to
come
come out.
back.
She's going to have a promo. You're going to hear music or something. Or Bianca's going to have a match. Or she's going to attack her or something. I don't know.
What are
I'd
they gonna
have
do?
Sasha.
Bianca Carmella
I'd have
3?
no way. She's lost clean twice.
Yeah.
Carmella, I don't know, but they need to have Sasha come back and like attack her, like
Yep.
like what Sasha did to Natalia when she came back. a couple
Right.
years ago.
Congratulate her on her win. Attack her. Set up the match for SummerSlam. I think that's the way you go about it.
Yeah.
Edge came back to Smackdown. He said that he wasn't happy. He cut a promo on Seth Rollins. Then Seth came out. The notes I'm reading got it mixed up. Seth came out. He said he regrets not pulling the trigger by doing the stomp on Edge's neck in 2014 because if you remember, Seth brought the Authority back. They had Edge where he wants him to bribe. Who was it? John Cena.
Yeah.
It was to bribe John Cena into bringing the Authority back. So Seth said that he regrets not re-injuring Edge's neck. And then he said that he was going to, and I quote, make Edge's neck go up in smoke. Then Edge attacked Seth, and before Edge could hit a spear, Rollins escaped. This feud, I'm really liking this feud, Brandon.
Me too. This is the first time I've cared about Seth Rollins in a while.
Yeah, the promo he cut was great. The dynamic between these two was built well. Edge took Seth's spot. Rollins didn't like it. So Rollins took out Edge at Money in the Bank and caused him to lose. And now he's talking about how he wants to re-injure his neck. So I'm liking this. But I hope the payoff is good. That's my only thing.
Yeah. And the real story, because like when that whole segment happened, when he was talking to Cena, when Seth was talking to Cena about, re-injuring Edge, he didn't even say that. He said he was going to kill him on the spot.
Yeah.
So really, if you think about it, Seth really wanted to end Edge's life. So if you think about it, Seth's thing is, I would have had my shot at Money in the Bank if I didn't kill you when I could have back those 7 years ago,
Yeah. He regrets not taking the shot.
So I think people are looking too much into it because, WWE doesn't even think like this. But one of Edge's most memorable matches was with Mick Foley in that hardcore match. It was one of the most memorable spots ever where he spin him through that table on fire, right?
Right.
So I saw where people really paid attention to the part where Seth said "bang bang," and they were thinking that the match at SummerSlam could be like a hardcore match, since the whole story is of basically them trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too far fetched, but I don't think WWE thinks like that. But they very well could. So that's just something to keep your eye on.
Now the logic. That's actually a very good point. I didn't think of it like that. I did notice that he did the whole bang bang thing, but I think people aren't thinking too far into it, but they're thinking, too critically.
Yeah.
I don't
too
think
smart for WWE.
Yeah, I don't think the Mick Foley line was, teasing something. I just think Seth is playing mind games with Edge to kind of bring back the memories of times his career almost ended. So,
yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to a hardcore match, or not a hardcore match, but some sort of stipulation match to,
it definitely wouldn't be as hardcore as the Edge and Mick Foley match was because it's on Peacock and it's more appealing. But we've seen that WWE can pull out some pretty, some pretty look away from TV stuff with matches we've seen with Eye for an Eye and some of the Randy Orton stuff. So they definitely still could pull out some incredible spots. They did want to give us some type of Extreme Rules hardcore match, some type of dick at SummerSlam between Edge and Rollins.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I'm really liking this feud, so I hope the payoff is there. The payoff needs to be just as good or better. So that's how I feel about that. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, this is obviously going to match SummerSlam.
Right.
The reports are obviously right. I mean, it's just all but announced yet, and the challenge hasn't been made. And I feel like most of the matches are gonna start to be for SummerSlam are gonna start next week.
Yeah.
Starting off with Bobby and Goldberg, which I'm not looking forward to.
No.
But
We'll talk about that
yeah.
Monday. But this segment was good. One of the better things in the night, and I'm looking forward to the match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Up next, we had Toni Storm's Smackdown debut against Zelina Vega.
Good debut, by the way.
Two things I have on this segment. One, I don't like how Zelina is being used in this way. She should not. I'm not going to say she shouldn't have taken the loss, but she should have taken the loss, but she shouldn't have been put in this situation. WWE needs more. They need to bring back local talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't have people you're bringing back and wanting to push lose in short matches on TV. Obviously they made the right decision in having Toni win, but I don't think Zelina should have been the one to be out there with Toni to take the loss. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah. Now, granted, even though it was a short match, it was actually good, and Zelina actually did some good stuff in it in the amount of time she had. But yeah, I'm glad Toni got the win. It just should have been some local talent. If not that, somebody like Natalya, but she's a champion. But who cares? Those titles are irrelevant.
Yeah. I think local talent would have been the right way to go. The second thing I have on this is Toni Storm's new finisher, the Storm 1. There's two different ways to think about this. It's a new finisher. She's never used this finisher before, so yeah, the new name could be warranted. But why can't they just call it the Storm Zero and just change the finisher like they should have? Like the finisher is obviously not the Storm Zero, but you can't call it that anyway. Like I don't understand. Her name, her entrance music, everything about her was the same except for the name of her finisher. Which they always have to change something in my eyes. How did you feel about that, Brandon?
Yeah. So when we talked about this, when we talked about this earlier before we started recording, you had mentioned how you're pretty sure that Storm 1 means for something, you just didn't know what. So I took it to I did some research, and so I actually like Storm 1 because like with the meaning behind it, it's like a basically it's like some type of trigger, and it makes sense for a finisher if you look at like the background behind it, but not a lot of people are. But anyways, I guess Storm 1's okay. I guess Storm 0 just sounds cooler. I mean, I guess some people were saying, I saw some people saying how they like it because it's like a literal meaning how so a lot of people think that she went up from NXT, which you can't. So like how she leveled up one. So I guess you could call it Storm 1 now. It's what a lot of people were saying. Well, she leveled up now to the main roster, so maybe her, it's just a way to symbolize it. Whatever. Some people if you want to look into it like that. But I'm not mad at it because it doesn't sound stupid. I mean, it still sounds pretty cool, Storm 1, but I feel like Storm 0 just sounded better.
Well, the reason why they changed it is because it's a new finisher.
Yeah.
The Storm Zero was like a double underhook Tiger Driver. Kind of like what Tyler Bate does. Now, I don't know what this is. I didn't really catch it. I was looking away when it happened.
That was... Whatever. Okay, did you not see what it was?
No. I was looking away when it happened. All I know is that it was new.
Yeah, basically, it was a mean-ass headbutt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, she flipped her off her shoulders and just...
Yeah, she headbutted the absolute dog shit out of her. So, maybe she just has a new finisher added to it and she still has Storm Zero. Maybe.
I don't know, but I know why they changed the name. I just think they could have stuck with Storm Zero and nobody would have cared.
Maybe since it's just like such a acrobatic type, cool looking move, maybe they're gonna save it for like big matches. I mean, I won't be mad at that because if you think about it, the Storm 1, it's a quick move that you could get real fast.
Yeah.
instead of taking the time to do that. And for a debut, I think it's a cool way to end it. So, yeah. Me personally, I think she still has this on zero in her moveset.
She
They
could.
just added on.
But nonetheless, we'll see. This is only match number 1 on the main roster. But Toni Storm beats Zelina Vega. Pretty much a squash match, I guess you could call it. But
Yeah, you could.
she gets the win. Then we have Kevin Owens talking to Shotzi and Tegan Nox, who are trying to fix their tank backstage. Baron Corbin appeared wearing the same shirt from last week, except this time it was stained. Corbin revealed how he accidentally made a deal with a shady guy who stole his credit, and Owens gave him some money and walked away. So, then we had Shotzi eventually fixing the tank, and she shot Baron in his testicular region.
That was funny.
With the, I don't know what you would call that, but whatever she shoots out of the tank. And then the Dirty Dogs rolled up on him and took his money.
Such bullies.
But Kevin Owens came back and scared them off. Now, nobody cares about Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin being a duo. I actually think it hurts Kevin Owens. This is a poor way of trying to get Baron Corbin to be a babyface. It's not working for me. I don't know how you feel about it.
So, what is what I was going to say earlier. A lot of people haven't been, they really haven't been caring about Corbin at all. But I feel like since this is right with anybody, because a lot of people really like Kevin Owens. A lot of kids, a lot of grown-ups, a lot of adults. So I feel like if you want to get Corbin over in some type of capacity, you got to put him over. You got to put him with a fan favorite who can do it for him, because he can't do it on his own. Because I mean,
Right.
I guess, yeah. And then with the Dirty Dogs, that helps too, because they're such jerks, taking his money that he just got. I mean, WWE's doing a good job with the feeling bad for Corbin starting to slowly creep into certain fans, but I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah, I don't really care about this. Now the payoff, I think, from this segment might be a Dirty Dogs and Owens and Corbin match at SummerSlam, maybe on the pre-show.
Which would be fire. They did say, the reports did come out that they were trying to make the SummerSlam pre-show actually, kind of have some actual legit good matches on it.
Yeah, and that's why I say that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This segment was all right. I think the funniest part was when Shotzi shot him in the testicles.
For sure.
But it's whatever. Not bad. But I definitely see a tag team match. Maybe not at SummerSlam, but I'd like for it to be on SummerSlam just to make the kickoff show feel kind of legit. But up next, we had a short match between Dominic Mysterio and Jimmy Uso. Even though this was a short match, it was still pretty good. Both guys got some offense in. It was Jimmy, right? I got that right. Yeah, it was Jimmy. So Jay interfered on the outside, and did Ray get involved? If I remember correctly. The notes are saying Ray did not get involved. So the finish here was much like Money in the Bank when they won the tag team titles from the Mysterios. It was a roll-up, but it was a really sloppy roll-up. But the thing to look at here during the roll-up was the fact that Jay put his boots on the back of Jimmy and kind of helped with the leverage. And that's how Jimmy got the win. Now, I think the bigger thing we have to look at here is what they're going to do with the tag team championships for SummerSlam. So, with Gable losing to Angelo and the Dirty Dogs out of the picture, I think what they're gonna do is maybe a triple threat or a fatal four way. So Brandon,
Yeah.
what do you think they do with the tag team titles going into SummerSlam?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could go because it seems like they're trying to slowly get the Street Profits, back in the mix. And even though they lost Alpha Academy, they've definitely been building them up good. So, yeah, I think a Fatal 4-Way would be very entertaining. That'd be really entertaining. Since they already gave away Mysterios and Usos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a Fatal 4-Way is the right way to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know, I think the Usos need to retain regardless.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They need to keep the titles on the Bloodline. I think they are the best thing on SmackDown and maybe in the entire company. Roman is. I don't know if you would consider the Usos the best thing in the entire WWE along with him, but the Bloodline is
They're
definitely.
attached to him.
You said what?
Yeah, so I'd say yeah, because they're like attached to him and they're like all the same thing. But Roman's the best superstar. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, they're the bloodline. It's one of the best things going on in wrestling. At
Yeah.
the top.
So I could see them. Well, I actually think they need to retain the titles at SummerSlam, and then build
They do.
the Alpha Academy up for a title shot after. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
I feel like if they do that match, it'd probably be like the match that the Usos had at WrestleMania 35.
Yep.
Because that match was a banger.
Yeah, I really like that match. The spots in it was great.
That match was fun. It was really
spots
fun.
in it. Yeah. And as Jimmy and Jay were walking to the back, Roman Reigns' music hit, and he and Paul Heyman walked out. They went to the ring. Roman started talking about John Cena. He said that Cena came back with the same attire, same music, same promo, same insult, and then he threw in a line that really made me laugh. Brandon,
Made me laugh too.
explain this line. Explain this line and why it was so funny.
So he was talking about how, you know, how John Cena, every time he comes back, it's the same thing. How he would have thought after all the, recent change he's been through, a real life perspective, with all these big movies and all these blockbuster movies he's had, new haircut. He thought he would have came back, with some more, spice, and he would have had, respect for him. So he was saying how that was how it was the total opposite. How Cena came back, same music, same attire, same promos, just same message, and how that's really tiring and how it can get very boring. How a certain sexual activity with a partner, if you do the same,
Yes.
I'm just gonna be blunt, same position
Yes.
all the time and never change.
So that made me laugh.
That was funny.
If you want the exact wording, go watch the promo. But he said he doesn't want to see Cena. He said he doesn't see John Cena, and he declined his SummerSlam challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So before Reigns was able to leave, Finn Balor's music hit, and the crowd went crazy. Actually, he got a crazy pop from Cleveland. Balor told Reigns that if he won't accept Cena's challenge, maybe he'll accept his.
Yeah.
So Roman and Paul talked it over before Roman accepted his challenge to end the show. So at the time, I didn't like this decision because from the naked eye, from what I saw, it seemed like they were replacing Cena with Balor for SummerSlam. But last night, Brandon brought up a good point to me, and he
Yeah.
said that Finn didn't specify when he wanted the match with Reigns. John Cena did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to refrain from a rant that you probably wouldn't want to hear anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do this on SmackDown, I only have one issue with it. You're giving us a match on SmackDown that you could have gotten a big feud out of.
For sure.
How do you feel about that?
So yeah, I thought they were gonna say this for like basically what Roman did with Kevin Owens last year. I thought they were gonna do that. I thought they were gonna do that with Balor this year.
A long feud? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really shocked. I mean, and they still could do it again if they want to, but yeah, I feel like with Balor just being back, I feel like if it's anybody, it's okay for it to be Balor. Since even though he didn't really like earn an opportunity, he is like the first ever Universal Champion,
Right.
and he's really over with the crowd. You know, if you go away for 2 years and then come back and get the same reaction as you did when you were there, like you never left, that says something about you.
Right.
So I feel like it's good. I feel like it's good for Balor, and people would, I guess, call us kind of hypocrites for bashing Goldberg and using Keith Lee as a gateway for the Balor and Goldberg and Bobby Lashley match. But it's different with Roman and SmackDown because SmackDown handles their things different. I don't know why it seems like these two shows have a completely different writing team, but I feel like they're gonna give us a fire match. I feel like Finn Balor and Roman Reigns are gonna have like a match of the year candidate on SmackDown, but in the end, Roman Reigns is gonna get the win, and
Right.
then Cena is gonna continue to pick at Reigns and try to get it out of him, and I feel like eventually he will. So yeah, that's my take on it.
I agree. I feel like this is a good way to use a gateway, not like Keith Lee. So originally I had a problem. Brandon explained to me that this could happen on SmackDown, which I won't have a problem with. Like I said, I just want to see a big feud between these two guys. Eventually. But it was a good episode of SmackDown. It definitely had its downs, but it had a lot of ups. The Edge and Rollins segment, anything involving Cena, Reigns, and Balor tonight. Balor had a good match with Zayn. I didn't like the rolling out stuff. We talked about that in the beginning of the show. I definitely see Roman and Cena 100% locked in for SummerSlam. I see a multi-man match with Apollo, and I see Sasha returning soon. I don't know when, but she's gonna return soon, and they're gonna set that match up. Edge and Rollins will have their match. What else do you see from the SmackDown side?
If you really think about it, SmackDown really has their whole side of SummerSlam really planned out already.
Right.
Everything you mentioned is like a good 4 matches from the Raw side, 8 matches together. SummerSlam is planned to be 3 hours, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. This is not a bad episode. They definitely
Mm-hmm.
revealed their true intentions for the show. But what would you say is the highlight of the show tonight?
My most memorable part of the show. Um,
Have we lost Brandon? I think we might
Sorry,
have
guys,
lost
I'm
Brandon.
back. I'm back.
Okay.
What I was saying was, um, crap. What was I talking about, bro?
What was your highlight of tonight? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
what was
yeah.
your highlight of the show last night, rather?
My highlight was Seth Rollins and Edge.
Yeah.
I think that was my most favorite part of the show. Cena, obviously, but I feel like since even though Cena gave us like a great promo, it's something we've seen before, and we really haven't got that really promos head on mic back and forth with Edge and Rollins. So yeah, that was my highlight of the night.
Right, I agree. That was probably my favorite segment. You know, it was a good interaction. It definitely sets the stage for their SummerSlam match. What would you say your favorite match of the night was? I think this is an obvious choice for me.
Match of the night: Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn.
Definitely, I agree. They put on probably one of the best TV matches of the year, and it didn't have to be long either.
Mm-mm.
You know, I really like Sami Zayn when he's a face. You know, he
Yeah,
he definitely knows how to work a match as a heel and a face.
yeah,
But with that face character, I feel like he can use his old moveset better, and his matches are a little better quality. But
yeah.
I really enjoyed what they did last night in the ring. So, not a bad show.
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to go out
Better than
on the.
Raw,
Yeah,
like always.
way better than Raw. Anything's better than Raw. 205 Live is probably better than Raw. The match that Ricochet and Cedric put on main event this week is better than Raw. Go check that out. That was great.
I meant to go watch that. I'm gonna watch it right after this.
So we're gonna get out of here, but make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on the post notifications to make sure you catch every time we post. And what would you say our question of the day would be, Brandon? For those who want to answer it, what do you think is gonna play out with
Yeah,
Cena
I'd say.
and Balor?
What do you think goes? Yeah, I think. What do you go? What do you think goes on Finn Balor, and when do you think Sasha Banks returns?
Yep. All right, we'll go with that. Let us know in the comments. When do you think Sasha returns, and when do you think, or what do you think happens between Finn, Cena, and Reigns? How do they play that out? Drop that in the comments down below. We'll be back tomorrow with Breaking the Wall. Big news on. We're gonna cover Punk Bryan, Vince McMahon's burial of NXT, and all your news and rumors that you need to know from this week in the world of professional wrestling. So you got that to look forward to tomorrow. You got the Raw review coming Tuesday, nothing Monday. And on Wednesday, you'll get our NXT review. And we are beginning our vlog for Fight for the Fallen. We're going to that Wednesday. The vlog will be up soon after. And the day after, which is Thursday, you'll get our AEW Fight for the Fallen review. So, thank you for watching. We're going to get out of here. For Brandon, I'm Will. This is your Smackdown review from July 23rd, 2021. We will see you tomorrow for Breaking the Wall. Peace.
Peace, guys.